Welcome to Zoe Stories. Roommate found my secret. Now I'm her doll. I had always been careful. At least, I thought I had. The clothes were hidden at the back of the closet, behind boxes of old textbooks I hadn't touched since freshman year. The makeup sat neatly tucked inside a shoebox under my bed, sealed tight with tape, as if that could somehow protect me from discovery. It wasn't much. A thrift store dress, a wig that didn't quite fit, a lipstick stolen from a drugstore when I was 16 and too scared to buy it outright. But to me, it was everything. My secret. My shame. My escape. Living with Emma had been easy up until that point. She was confident, outspoken, effortlessly beautiful in a way that made everyone notice when she walked into a room. She wasn't cruel, at least not outright, but she had a sharpness to her words, a playful sarcasm that always seemed to cut a little deeper than intended. I never imagined she would one day hold the power to unravel me. It happened on a Thursday evening. I'd been stuck in traffic, late coming back from class. When I finally unlocked the door to our apartment, the first thing I noticed was silence. Too quiet. Emma usually had music playing loud, unapologetic, some indie playlist or rap she was obsessed with. But tonight, nothing. Just the hum of the fridge. Then I saw it. On the couch, neatly laid out as if for display, was the dress. My dress. Beside it sat the wig, the lipstick, and even the cheap pair of tights I had hidden away. The shoebox was there too, open and empty. And standing next to it was Emma, arms crossed, her eyebrow raised. My stomach dropped. My throat went dry. I couldn't move. "Well," she said finally, breaking the silence. Her voice wasn't angry. It wasn't disgusted. It was curious. Almost amused. "This is interesting." I opened my mouth to speak, but nothing came out. My legs trembled. All the air in the room seemed to vanish, leaving me gasping on the inside while outwardly frozen. She picked up the wig, dangling it between two fingers like evidence in a trial. "I thought you were boring. Shy, quiet, always studying, never going out. But this?" She smirked, tilting her head. "This is not what I expected." "Emma, please," my voice cracked. I wanted to beg, to explain, to deny, but my body betrayed me. The heat in my cheeks, the tremble in my voice, it all gave me away. She walked toward me slowly, placing the wig gently back on the couch before stepping close enough that I could smell her perfume, something sharp and floral. "You've been hiding this from me," she said softly, almost teasingly. "All this time, you've been playing dress-up behind my back." I shook my head desperately. It's nothing, just a phase, just." She pressed a finger to my lips, silencing me. Her eyes glimmered with mischief. "Don't lie. I can see it in your face. The way you're panicking, the way you can't even look me in the eye. This isn't nothing." Tears threatened to well in my eyes. I wanted to melt into the floor. Run. Escape. Anything but stand here under her gaze. Then she smiled, slow, deliberate, dangerous. "You know, this could be fun." I blinked, confused. "Fun?" "Yes." She circled me now, like a cat stalking prey. "You've been keeping secrets, but now that I know, maybe we can make a little game out of it." She leaned in close, her breath warm against my ear. "You want to be a doll? Then I'll make you my doll." My chest tightened. No, I didn't. But she was already turning back to the couch, picking up the dress and holding it against my body, her eyes scanning me with calculating precision. "It'll fit," she murmured. "We'll start tonight." "I can't, please, Emma, don't." My voice shook. She looked at me then, all traces of teasing gone, her expression suddenly serious. "You think you have a choice?" The room spun. My heart pounded. In that moment, I realized the truth. The secret wasn't mine anymore. It was hers. And I had no idea how far she would take it. The dress felt heavier than it should have when Emma shoved it into my arms. My fingers trembled against the fabric, a cheap floral print, soft but suffocating in its meaning. I can't." My voice broke as I tried to hand it back. My whole body screamed to resist. If I put it on, I wasn't just admitting it, I was surrendering. But Emma didn't flinch. She leaned against the armrest of the couch, arms crossed, watching me with a calm that felt scarier than anger. You think you have a choice? Don't make me repeat myself. I swallowed hard. Emma, please, this is private. You weren't supposed to. She cut me off with a sharp laugh. Private? You're living with me. And I found it. That means it's my business now. Her eyes glittered. So here's the deal. Either you put it on right now, or I take a few pictures of this little stash and send them to, I don't know, your classmates? Maybe your mom. I shot through my veins. My knees nearly buckled. You wouldn't. She pulled her phone from her pocket and waved it casually. Try me. My heart raced. I looked at the dress in my hands, then at Emma's cold smirk. Trapped. Cornered. No way out. The room blurred around me as I whispered, Fine. Her smirk widened. Good boy. Or should I say good girl? I wanted to vanish. My face burned as I turned away, clutching the dress. My room felt like a prison as I stepped inside and shut the door. My reflection stared back at me from the mirror above my desk, pathetic, terrified, defeated. I slipped out of my hoodie and jeans, my hands shaking. The moment the dress slid over my head, it was as if all the air had been sucked from the room. The fabric clung awkwardly to my frame, tight in some places, loose in others. My chest looked wrong, my shoulders too broad, my hairy legs exposed. It wasn't pretty. It was humiliating. And yet, a part of me, deep down, felt the same dangerous thrill I'd felt every time I secretly dressed before. The shame mixed with something else. Something I didn't want Emma or anyone to see. Are you done in there, princess? Emma's voice rang through the door, mocking and patient. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to will away the tears. Then, slowly, I opened the door. Emma's gaze swept over me in one long, deliberate look. A grin tugged at her lips. Oh my God, you're even cuter than I thought. My face burned hotter. This is humiliating. That's the point, she said sweetly. She stood and walked toward me, circling like a predator. Don't worry, we'll work on the details. A wig here, a little makeup there. By the time I'm done with you, you'll look like a perfect little doll. I shook my head desperately. No, I can't do this. I won't. She leaned close, her whisper cutting deep. You will. Because if you don't, I own your secret, and I won't hesitate to use it. Her phone flashed in her hand, and my stomach dropped. She'd already snapped a photo. My voice cracked. Please don't. She smirked, slipping the phone into her pocket. Relax. As long as you behave, no one sees it. My heart pounded. My world spun. In a single evening, Emma had chained me with invisible shackles. And she wasn't stopping there. Emma tossed the wig at me like it was nothing, but when it landed in my hands, it felt like holding a loaded weapon. Soft strands of synthetic brown hair slipped between my fingers, silky and alien. It looked cheap, yet terrifying, because I knew what it represented. I'm not doing this, I whispered, clutching the wig like it might burn me. Emma leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, smiling that wicked smile. She wasn't angry. That was worse. She was calm, in control, like she had all the time in the world. Don't be dramatic. It's just hair, she said, tilting her head. Or, are you scared of seeing what you really look like? Her words stung, because they cut right into me. I wasn't scared of the wig itself. I was scared of me. Of the part of me that had always wanted to see, had always wondered, had always felt a dangerous pull whenever I glimpsed myself in the mirror in secret. I don't. My throat tightened. I don't belong in this. Emma's smirk widened. You didn't belong in that dress either, but look at you. You're wearing it. And you'll wear this too. Or should I remind you what happens if you don't? She tapped her pocket where her phone was hidden. Just that gesture alone sent my stomach into a free fall. I slipped the wig over my head with trembling hands. It felt heavy, itchy, wrong. Strands fell across my forehead, brushing my cheeks. The reflection in the mirror warped instantly. I barely recognized myself. A boy with long hair, a mismatched parody of femininity. Emma stepped forward, her eyes glittering. She adjusted the wig with surprising gentleness, her fingers grazing my temple. She murmured, tucking a strand behind my ear. Not bad. You've got the bone structure. Strong jaw, yes, but with some makeup we can soften that. Your eyes, though, those are already pretty. You'll thank me later. Her words sent a shiver through me. Part insult, part compliment, part prophecy. I shook my head, tearing my gaze away from the mirror. No. This is insane. I can't go out like this. Emma laughed, low and sharp. Who said anything about going out? This is just practice. Baby steps. She grabbed something from her dresser and dropped it onto the bed with a soft thud. A small makeup bag. My chest tightened. Emma, no. Oh, yes. She unzipped it with deliberate slowness, like she was unwrapping a present. Lipstick. Foundation. Blush. Eyeliner. A whole arsenal laid out between us. My body froze. You're not seriously. She cut me off by grabbing my wrist and pulling me toward the desk. Sit. I resisted weakly. Emma, please? Her voice dropped, cold and sharp. Sit. The command hit me like a whip. My legs moved before my brain agreed, and suddenly I was in the chair, staring at my reflection again. Wig. Dress. A trembling boy pretending to be a girl. Emma stood behind me, her reflection hovering over mine, her smile smug and victorious. Relax, she said softly, opening a compact. You'll look gorgeous when I'm done. And maybe then you'll understand why you were hiding this in the first place. Deep down you like it, don't you? I don't. My protest came too fast, too desperate. Even I didn't believe it. Emma chuckled. We'll see. The brush touched my cheek, light and ticklish. My heart pounded as powder dusted across my skin. She hummed to herself as if this were casual, like she wasn't rewriting my identity stroke by stroke. Blush. Concealer. The cool glide of foundation. Then eyeliner, sharp, terrifying, transforming. My lashes darkened, my eyes widened, and suddenly the face staring back wasn't mine anymore. With each layer, I felt a piece of myself slipping away. The boy I knew was drowning, and in his place, someone else was surfacing. Emma stepped back, admiring her work. Not bad for a first try, she said, grinning. She picked up a lipstick tube and twisted it open. Bright red. My stomach lurched. No, I whispered. Yes. She held it up like a crown. Open. I clenched my mouth shut. Her smirk sharpened. Fine. I'll just take this picture and send it to your mother. Imagine her face when she finds out. My lips parted instantly. The lipstick glided on, smooth and heavy. My reflection sealed the betrayal. Long hair, painted face, crimson lips trembling against pale skin. Emma clapped her hands together softly. Perfect. My little doll. The words sank into me like a brand. Doll. Not person. Not friend. A thing. A toy for her to play with. Tears pricked my eyes, blurring the mirror. Emma crouched beside me, her voice syrupy sweet. Don't cry. Dolls don't cry. They smile. And she tilted my chin up, forcing me to look at my reflection again. I wanted to scream. I wanted to rip the wig off, smear the lipstick, throw the dress across the room. But instead, I sat there, frozen, watching as my old self disappeared behind the mask she'd forced on me. Emma whispered into my ear, her breath hot. From now on, whenever I say it's doll time, you'll obey. Because you're mine now. Knock. 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 Each thud against the door sent shockwaves through me. I sat rigid in the chair, my painted lips parted in horror, the wig itching against my scalp. My heart pounded so hard I thought the stranger outside could hear it. Emma, a cheerful female voice called. You home? I nearly collapsed with relief. It was another girl. Not a man. Not my mother. But still, my veins froze. What if she saw me like this? Emma's eyes sparkled with mischief. She put a finger to her lips. Sure. Then she leaned close, whispering in my ear. Stay. Exactly. Like this. I shook my head violently, panic bursting through me. No. Emma, please. My whisper was frantic, my voice shaking. Don't let anyone see me like this. I can't. Do you want me to open the door and introduce you? She whispered back, smirk spreading across her face. Say, this is my new roommate. Isn't she pretty? My stomach dropped to the floor. I grabbed at her arm desperately.
No, don't.
I'll do anything, just don't let her in. Emma's smile widened. She loved this. She thrived on my desperation. She brushed her hand over my crimson lips, smearing a little of the lipstick onto her thumb. She said softly, taunting me. Look at you.
Begging.
And you look so cute doing it. The knock came again, firmer this time. Emma? Hello. Emma straightened, her eyes still locked on me. Stay, she commanded, her voice low and sharp. Don't move. Don't even breathe wrong. If you ruin this makeup, I swear. Then, without another word, she swept to the door and cracked it open. I sat frozen, my body trembling. My reflection mocked me from the mirror, a boy who wasn't a boy anymore, trapped in a girl's disguise. My lips were too red, my lashes too long. Even if I ripped the wig off, there'd still be makeup, still be proof. Hey, Sarah. Emma's voice was cheerful, casual. Come in. I nearly fainted. She's letting her in. The door creaked wider, footsteps clicked across the hardwood. A new voice filled the room. Light, warm, unsuspecting. Ugh, I needed this. My shift at the cafe was a nightmare. You will not believe what this customer did.
She stopped.
Silence. I could feel her eyes on me, even though I couldn't turn to look. Sarah's voice faltered. Emma? Who's this? The air burned against my skin. My face flushed hot under the makeup. My hands clenched the chair, so tightly my knuckles turned white. Emma strolled casually back to me, resting her hands on my shoulders like I was her prize. This, she said, drawing the word out, is my roommate. She's shy. Her roommate? She called me she. My breath caught in my throat. Oh, Sarah said slowly. Well, nice to meet you. I couldn't move.
Couldn't speak.
If I opened my mouth, my real voice would betray me instantly. Emma squeezed my shoulders, nails digging in just enough to warn me. Say hi, doll. She whispered into my ear. My lips trembled. My throat burned. Every instinct screamed, don't do it. But Emma's grip tightened, and fear crushed me. Hi, I squeaked. The sound that came out wasn't mine. It was higher, softer, broken. Like some pathetic imitation of a girl's voice. Sarah smiled awkwardly. Ah, she's sweet. She believed it. She believed it. The room tilted around me. My pulse roared in my ears. I wanted to vanish, sink into the floorboards, erase myself. Emma beamed, stroking my wig like I was a pet. Isn't she pretty?
Pretty.
The words slammed into me like a bullet. Sarah tilted her head, studying me. Yes, she is. Something cracked inside me. A mix of humiliation, disbelief, and, God help me, a tiny spark of something else. Something dangerous. Because a part of me liked hearing it. I swallowed hard, tears threatening to spill. Anyway, Sarah said, turning back to Emma, I just came to drop this off. She set a paper bag on the table. I'll let you two get back to whatever you were doing. Her tone lingered on the last words, playful, curious. Emma smirked, waving. Thanks, Sarah. See you tomorrow. The door shut. Silence filled the room. I let out a shaky breath and buried my face in my hands. Emma crouched beside me, pulling my hands away. She looked straight into my tear-streaked, makeup-smeared face, her eyes alight with triumph. See, she whispered. She thought you were pretty. She thought you were real. Her finger traced the line of my jaw. You can never go back now, doll. Not after this. The next morning, I woke to the sound of drawers opening and closing. My heart sank before I even opened my eyes. I already knew what it meant. Emma was planning something. Rise and shine, doll. Her voice sang out, syrupy sweet. I groaned, burying my face into the pillow. My skin still felt sticky with traces of makeup she hadn't let me wash off completely. The memory of Sarah's visit the night before replayed in my head like a nightmare. The way she looked at me, the way she called me pretty, the way Emma smiled through all of it. I wanted to believe it had all been a dream, but when I rolled over, reality smirked right back at me. On the bed, Emma had laid out clothes. Not mine. Hers. A pale pink blouse with lace trim. A short pleated skirt. Black tights. A pair of ankle boots with a modest heel. My chest tightened. No, I whispered. Yes, Emma corrected, grinning. We're going out. I sat up so fast I nearly fell off the bed. Out? As in outside. She nodded, her ponytail bouncing. Don't look so shocked. You knew this was coming. Dolls don't just sit on shelves, you know. They have to be shown off. My stomach twisted. Emma, I can't.
People will see.
They'll laugh. They'll know. She crossed the room, arms folded, eyes burning with amusement and steel. Really? Because Sarah didn't know. She thought you were pretty. Remember? My face burned. I wanted to forget, but she wouldn't let me. Emma leaned closer, her whisper like a blade against my throat. Besides, you don't have a choice. You're my doll. And dolls don't get to say no. I stared at the outfit, every piece a nail in the coffin of who I used to be. Emma tapped her foot impatiently. Well, don't just sit there. Try it on. I hesitated, trembling. She arched an eyebrow and pulled her phone out of her pocket. That was all it took. My hands moved on their own. The blouse slid over my shoulders, light and soft, the lace scratching faintly against my neck. The skirt swished as I pulled it up, falling to mid-thigh. Too short. Way too short. I tugged it down, but it refused to cover me properly. The tights clung to my legs like a second skin, smoothing out every angle until they looked wrong. Or worse, right? Emma knelt to zip up the boots for me. Her fingers brushed my ankle, and I flinched. She smirked.
Relax.
You'll thank me when people stare. I shook my head violently. I don't want people to stare. Of course you do, she whispered, standing. You just don't know it yet. Emma pulled me into the chair by the mirror and snapped the light on. My reflection looked pale, raw, and exhausted. But she was already unpacking her makeup kit. I whimpered. Emma, please? Sure. She pressed a finger against my lips. Don't waste your breath. You'll need it to smile. Foundation, blush, eyeliner, it all came back, layer by layer, like déjà vu. The lipstick this time was softer, a muted pink, but no less humiliating. When she slipped the wig onto my head again, it felt different. Last night it was a prison. This morning it was a mask. A shield. I almost wanted it because at least with the wig on, I wasn't me anymore. I was her doll. Emma grabbed her purse, slung it over her shoulder, and took my wrist. Come on. I dug my heels into the carpet. No, Emma, I can't. Her grip tightened. You will. She dragged me to the door. My heart pounded louder with each step. My palms were slick with sweat, my throat dry. When she turned the knob, I nearly screamed. The hallway stretched before us, endless and bright. The sound of distant voices echoed. My whole body stiffened. Emma? She leaned in, smiling like the devil. Smile, doll. And then she pulled me out. The world tilted. The carpeted hallway under my boots, the hum of fluorescent lights, the weight of strangers' doors all around me. Any second, someone could open one and see me.
See this.
I clutched Emma's arm like I might drown. Please, I hissed. Let me go back. She leaned close. Too late. The elevator dinged. My knees nearly buckled. We stepped inside, and just as the doors began to close, someone slipped in after us.
A man.
Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing gym clothes. Sweat glistened on his neck. I froze, my entire body locked in terror. My reflection in the elevator mirror screamed back at me. Wig, makeup, skirt. I didn't look like me. I looked like her. The man gave a polite nod. Morning. His eyes flicked over me, then away. Like I was just another girl. Heat rushed to my cheeks. My heart hammered. He didn't know. He didn't know. Emma smiled sweetly. Morning. Then she squeezed my hand discreetly, smirking as if to say, "See? You pass." The elevator ride felt like years. When the doors opened, we stepped into the lobby. People milled about, checking mail, chatting, heading out. Every pair of eyes felt like knives. I wanted to run, but Emma's grip held me steady, dragging me through the crowd. And then it happened. A voice called out, "Emma, hey." I stiffened. Someone knew her, which meant someone was about to know me. I thought the night after Clara's discovery would pass quietly, that maybe she would forget, or that her smug grin was just to scare me. But when I woke up the next morning, the world already felt different. My dorm room wasn't mine anymore. My privacy had been stripped away like a second skin. Clara sat cross-legged on her bed, sipping coffee, phone in hand. She looked far too awake for someone who'd stayed up as late as we had. When her eyes met mine, I felt the weight of something invisible pressing against my chest. "Morning, pretty boy," she said. Her tone wasn't mocking, not fully. It was something else. Possessive. Calculated. My throat went dry. She's not letting this go. I sat up, avoiding her stare. But she wouldn't let me hide. "Before you go to class, we need to have a little talk," Clara said, setting her mug down. She grabbed her phone and held it up casually. "These pictures?
Still here.
All of them. One wrong move, one word out of place, and they go to your entire contact list." My stomach lurched. I could almost feel the rope tightening around my throat. "What do you want from me?" My voice cracked like a child's. Her smile was gentle, sweet even, but her eyes glimmered with control. "Relax. I'm not asking for money or your life. I just think it's adorable. You, with your little makeup experiments. That silky wig you hide in your drawer. Those stockings you thought nobody would notice. Why should you hide it? Why not embrace it?" I shook my head violently.
No.
That was just a mistake. I don't. But Clara stood and walked toward me, slow and deliberate, as if she had all the time in the world. She leaned down, her breath grazing my ear. "You looked so pretty," she whispered. "Don't you want to feel that again?" My body betrayed me with a shiver. I hated myself for it. She straightened, then pulled something from her closet, a pink silk robe with lace trimming. It shimmered in the morning light, delicate and undeniably feminine. She held it out like an offering, or maybe a weapon. "Try it on," she ordered softly. I froze.
What?
"No, Clara, I can't." Her thumb hovered over her phone screen, the unspoken threat hanging in the air. "You can. Or would you rather explain this to everyone?" My chest tightened. My hands shook. If I refuse, I lose everything. If I agree, I lose myself. Clara tilted her head. "Come on, doll. Just slip it over. I won't bite." The word doll echoed in my head. Something inside me snapped. I reached out with trembling fingers and took the robe. The silk slid over my skin like water, cool and light, clinging in places it shouldn't. When I looked up, Clara's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. She clasped her hands together like a proud artist admiring her work. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Heat rushed to my face. I pulled the robe tighter, as if I could disappear inside it. But she wasn't done.
Now sit.
"I'll do your makeup properly. If you're going to be my doll, you should at least look the part." My heart pounded. "Clara, please, this is humiliating." She crouched in front of me, so close I could see every detail of her smirk. Good. Dolls don't get to complain. They just sit still and let themselves be made beautiful. Her words sliced through me, but my body obeyed. I sat frozen as she fetched her makeup bag, the zipper sound sharp as a blade. And as the brush touched my skin, I realized something horrifying. This wasn't just blackmail. It was the beginning of something much deeper. Clara wasn't just controlling me. She was reshaping me, layer by layer, into whatever she wanted. And the worst part? Somewhere deep inside, part of me didn't want her to stop. The robe still clung to me when Clara finally stepped back, brush in hand, eyes glowing like she had just completed a masterpiece. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror she shoved toward me. The boy who stared back was gone. In his place sat a soft-faced, wide-eyed stranger with tinted lips and flawless skin. I looked fragile, delicate even. "See," Clara cooed, tilting my chin upward. "Told you."
Dull.
The word twisted in my gut. I tried to speak, but my throat felt sealed. I looked away, hugging my knees as if I could still protect something of myself. Clara didn't let the silence drag. She walked to her closet again, pulling out a short pleated skirt and a pastel blouse.
Get dressed.
"We're going out." My heart lurched.
Out? No.
I can't let anyone see me like this." She raised a brow, her phone already in her hand. The screen flashed, a reminder of my prison. "Yes, you can. And you will. Or should I send that picture to your entire class group chat right now?" I shook my head, panic rushing like fire in my veins. "Clara, please. Not in public. Anything but that." But she only smiled, folding the skirt neatly across her arm. "Sweetheart, you're already too pretty to keep hidden. The world deserves to see my doll." Her doll. Not her roommate. Not her friend. Her possession. I wanted to scream, to slam the door and run. But the images of my secret, exposed for everyone to laugh at, chained me to her will. With numb hands, I took the clothes. Changing into them felt like shedding my last layer of resistance. The skirt brushed against my thighs, shorter than anything I'd ever worn. The blouse's soft fabric hugged me, its neckline dipping lower than I was comfortable with. Clara finished the look with a wig she'd clearly planned for, shoulder-length, honey brown hair that framed my face like it had always belonged. When she placed a headband on me, I saw it. The complete transformation. No trace of the boy remained. And that's when Clara leaned in, whispering into my ear, "Perfect. Now, let's go turn heads." Every step out of our dorm felt like walking toward execution. The hallway buzzed with voices, but no one paid much attention yet. My pulse hammered as Clara looped her arm through mine like we were girlfriends heading to class together. I prayed we'd just walk around the block. But Clara had bigger plans. "The cafe downtown," she said cheerfully. "Nice, crowded place. Great lighting. You'll look adorable." "No," I hissed, panic rising. "Clara, please, I can't be seen like this. People will know." She leaned closer, her voice low but sharp. "That's the point. A doll doesn't hide in a drawer. She gets displayed. You're mine now. Don't forget it." I swallowed hard. Displayed. That word stuck to me like glue. When we finally stepped inside, the warm hum of chatter stopped me dead. Dozens of eyes turned casually toward us. To them, we were just two girls grabbing coffee. But to me, it felt like every gaze was x-raying my skin, peeling away my disguise. I froze at the door, legs trembling. "Clara, I can't." She squeezed my arm tight. "You can. Smile, doll. Or, do you want me to post right now?" My body obeyed before my mind did. I forced a shaky smile, though my inside screamed. Clara guided me to the counter. When the barista looked at me and said, "What can I get for you, miss?" something inside me cracked. "Miss." He believed it. I ordered in the softest voice I could manage, praying it wouldn't betray me. The barista didn't blink. He just handed me my latte like it was the most natural thing in the world. But Clara wasn't satisfied. She leaned across the counter, grinning. "Doesn't she look cute today?" Heat exploded across my face. My hands shook so violently I almost dropped the cup. The barista smiled politely, clearly amused. "Yeah, she does." And that was it. That was the moment. My stomach twisted, but another part of me, the part one hated, swelled with warmth. Being called cute. Being believed. Being seen. Clara caught the flicker in my eyes and smirked. She knew. She always knew. She insisted we sit by the window, where everyone could see. My legs stayed glued together, skirt tugged low, terrified someone would notice. Clara, on the other hand, leaned back with satisfaction, snapping casual pictures under the table. "Relax," she whispered. "You're safe. Everyone thinks you're just a shy, pretty girl. And isn't that what you secretly wanted all along?" I wanted to deny it, to scream no, but the truth sat heavy on my chest. For the first time, I wasn't sure what I wanted anymore. The cafe ordeal had ended, but the storm inside me hadn't. My heart was still racing as Clara and I stepped back into the evening air. My wig clung to my forehead in the warm breeze, the skirt brushing against my trembling thighs with every step. Clara was radiant, practically glowing with triumph. She held her phone like a trophy, scrolling through the pictures she'd taken. "Look at this one. God, you look like you belong in a magazine spread." I didn't dare look. I just pulled at the hem of the skirt again and muttered, "Can we please just go home?" "Home," she laughed. "Doll, we're just getting started." Her words sank into me like ice. Just getting started. But then fate decided to twist the knife even deeper. We were halfway down the crowded street when I heard a voice behind us. Familiar. Too familiar.
Hey, wait.
"Is that?" I froze. My blood ran cold. Turning my head felt impossible, but I didn't need to. I already knew the voice. Ethan. An old classmate from high school. The kind of boy who noticed everything. The kind who teased me back then for being too quiet, too soft. And now here he was. I felt the ground tilt beneath me. My knees wanted to give out. Clara noticed immediately, her grip on my arm tightening like steel. "Relax," she whispered, her smile never faltering. "You're fine. Remember, you're my doll now. Act like it." I couldn't. I couldn't face him. If Ethan realized who I was, it would spread like wildfire. My secret wouldn't just be in Clara's hands. It would be everyone's. "Hey." Ethan's voice drew closer. "Clara? That you? Wow, I haven't seen you since graduation." Clara spun around smoothly, her face lighting up in a picture-perfect smile.
"Ethan."
"Oh my God, it's been forever." And then his eyes shifted.
"To me."
I wanted to disappear. Crawl into the pavement. Anything. Ethan's brow furrowed slightly, his gaze lingering too long. "And who's this?" My chest constricted.
My voice was gone.
Clara answered for me without hesitation, her hand sliding onto my waist possessively. "This? Oh, this is my roommate. Isn't she cute?"
She.
The word clanged in my ears like a bell. Ethan's eyes scanned me, and for a horrifying moment, I thought he saw through everything, the wig, the makeup, the clothes. But then he smiled.
"Yeah, she is."
"Wow, Clara, you've still got good taste in friends." Clara laughed lightly, pulling me closer until I could feel her nails digging through the fabric of my blouse. "Doesn't she?" she said sweetly. "Go on, doll, say hi." My throat burned. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but Clara's nails reminded me of the prison I was in. So I forced the word out.
Soft.
Fragile. Almost a whisper. "Hi." Ethan grinned. "Shy, huh? That's cute."
Cute.
Again. My stomach twisted, a sickening cocktail of humiliation and something I couldn't name. We made small talk, or rather, Clara did. She filled the silence effortlessly, spinning lies about me being a transfer student, too shy for big crowds. Ethan seemed to buy every word. But then, just as we were about to leave, his eyes narrowed slightly. He tilted his head, studying me with the same sharpness I remembered from high school. "Wait a second," he said slowly. "You look kind of familiar. Have we met before?" My body locked. The blood drained from my face. Clara's grip tightened instantly. She spoke before I could even stutter. "Familiar? Of course she doesn't. You'd remember if you'd met her, Ethan." Her voice was honeyed, but her nails were daggers in my side. Ethan chuckled, scratching his head. "Yeah, maybe you're right. Guess you just have that face. Sorry if I made it awkward." Relief crashed over me so hard I nearly stumbled. Clara smiled sweetly, but as soon as Ethan turned away, her lips curled into something darker. The moment Ethan was out of sight, Clara leaned down, her lips brushing against my ear. Her voice was low, sharp as glass. You almost ruined it. Do you know what would happen if someone figured you out? I shook my head, trembling. I couldn't speak. That's the problem. Her smile didn't fade, but her eyes were merciless. Dolls don't freeze. Dolls perform. If you embarrass me again, I'll make sure your secret isn't just mine to hold. Understand? My chest tightened. I nodded quickly, terrified of what she might do. Clara's expression softened instantly, her tone flipping like a switch. She stroked my cheek with mock affection. Good girl.
See?
You're learning. Her words cut deeper than her threats. Good girl. And the worst part? Somewhere deep inside me, a shiver of warmth followed the shame. The apartment door had barely shut behind us when Clara turned on me. Her heels clicked against the hardwood like warning shots as she circled, arms folded, eyes gleaming with predatory amusement. You froze, she said simply, her voice cool. You almost exposed us both. I stood near the couch, tugging nervously at the skirt, unable to meet her gaze. I tried. I just couldn't. Clara's laughter rang out, sharp and merciless. Couldn't? Doll, that's not an excuse. You're mine now, and you don't get to couldn't. Her words pressed down like a weight. I opened my mouth to protest, but she snapped her fingers, cutting me off. Sit. My body obeyed before my mind caught up. I sat on the edge of the couch, small and powerless, while Clara disappeared into her room. She returned moments later, arms full, makeup cases, bags of clothes, high heels dangling by the straps. She dumped them on the coffee table like weapons before a battle. Clara perched gracefully on the armrest, towering over me. Her tone was deceptively casual, but her eyes glittered with danger. I'll make you a deal, she began, brushing a lock of hair from her face. One night. Just one. You dress as my perfect doll. You come with me to a little gathering tonight and you perform. Smile, walk, speak. Like the pretty girl you've been practicing to be. If you manage to pull it off, I'll delete the photos.
Gone.
You'll be free. My heart stopped. Was this my chance? Freedom dangled just inches from my reach. And if I fail? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Clara's smile sharpened. Then you're mine forever. Not just my doll in private. You'll be my doll everywhere. At school. At work. With friends. Everyone will know. You won't have a secret anymore. You'll just be her. Her words carved straight into me. This wasn't a challenge, it was a trap. But what choice did I have? I swallowed hard, nodding slowly. Okay. Clara clapped her hands together in delight, leaning down to kiss my cheek mockingly. Good girl. Let's get you ready. She started with the clothes. Out came a shimmering black dress, sleek and short, with straps that promised no room for error. She held it up against me, tilting her head. Yes, this will do. Sexy, but not too much. After all, you're still supposed to look innocent. I shook my head weakly. I can't wear that in public. You can and you will, she interrupted firmly. Because tonight isn't about you. It's about me. My doll. My creation. She stripped away my clothes piece by piece, each movement deliberate, each pause a reminder of my helplessness. Soon I was standing there in only lingerie she'd forced on me earlier that week, silky, delicate, humiliatingly feminine. My face burned, but Clara only smiled, sliding the dress down over my body like she was wrapping a gift. When I caught sight of myself in the mirror across the room, my breath caught. The dress hugged every curve the padding created. The wig fell just right against my shoulders, and my legs, smooth from Clara's insistence I shave them, looked long and fragile in the sheer stockings she slipped on next. This is insane, I whispered. I don't even recognize myself. Clara's reflection appeared behind mine. She pressed her chin to my shoulder, her lips brushing my ear. Good. That's the point. Then came the makeup. Clara worked with ruthless precision. Foundation, contour, blush, lashes. Every brush stroke stripped away another piece of me. My jaw softened under her hands. My eyes grew larger, my lips fuller. There, she murmured, stepping back to admire her work. Now no one will question what you are. They'll only see a girl. My girl. I stared at my reflection, stunned. The boy I knew was gone. In his place a stranger. A girl.
A doll.
Clara leaned down, whispering just loud enough for me to hear. Do you know what the best part is? You're starting to like it. My denial was immediate, desperate. No, I don't. I hate this. But the way my cheeks warmed, the way my chest fluttered at being called pretty, betrayed me. Clara wasn't finished. She pulled out the heels next, towering black stilettos that made my stomach drop. I shook my head furiously. No way. I can barely walk in sneakers. Clara smirked, sliding them onto my feet anyway. Then tonight will be very entertaining. She stood me up, steadying me with her hands. My knees wobbled instantly, my balance teetering. She forced me to walk, back and forth across the living room, correcting me with sharp taps to my thighs. Smaller steps. Swing your hips. Head up. Smile. Good girl, good girl. The praise both burned and melted inside me. By the time she was satisfied, I was trembling, not just from exhaustion, but from something deeper. When Clara was done, she pulled me back to the mirror. She placed her hands on my shoulders, locking eyes with me through the reflection. Look at you, she said softly. Not a trace of him left. Just my doll, ready to meet the world. Tears stung my eyes, but she tilted my chin upward, not allowing me to look away. You'll thank me for this one day, she whispered. When you realize this is who you were always meant to be. The knock echoed again, louder this time. My stomach flipped as if I were standing on the edge of a cliff. Clara smirked, squeezing my trembling hand. Don't faint on me now, doll. You've been practicing for this.
Practicing.
The word twisted in my chest. I never agreed to any of this. But the heels strapped to my feet, the dress hugging my frame, and the thick lashes brushing against my eyelids all screamed otherwise. The knock came a third time. Clara leaned in and whispered, Remember, smile, speak when spoken to, and don't let anyone suspect a thing. If you break, if you slip, well, you already know what happens. Her hand slid over my cheek in a mock caress. She wasn't comforting me. She was reminding me of the noose she held around my throat. Then the door opened. A trio of Clara's friends spilled in, 2 girls and a tall guy carrying a case of drinks. Their laughter filled the apartment instantly. Clara, one of the girls, squealed, rushing forward to hug her. It's been too long. Clara returned the embrace, radiant and confident. I know, right? Come in, come in. Oh, and this is my roommate. Her hand tugged me forward like I was a pet on a leash. I stumbled slightly in the heels but forced myself upright, my smile shaky and thin. Both girls' eyes landed on me at once. One gasped softly. The other's lips curled into a knowing grin. Oh, she drawled. She's adorable. Where have you been hiding her, Clara? Adorable. The word sliced through me, humiliating and intoxicating all at once. My throat tightened, but Clara's nails brushed the small of my back, a warning. I forced out a soft, shaky, hi. The tall guy grinned down at me. Shy one, huh? That's cute. Again cute. The word echoed in my skull, hollowing me out. The party grew quickly. More people arrived, filling the apartment with voices, music, and the sharp scent of alcohol. Clara orchestrated everything effortlessly, introducing me as her sweet roommate to everyone who walked in. Each introduction was another dagger. Each time someone called me pretty, beautiful, or adorable, the blush rose higher in my cheeks. I tried to retreat into corners, to make myself invisible, but Clara never allowed it. She would tug me back into conversations, loop her arm around my waist, whisper commands like, smile more, fix your hair, cross your legs, doll, like this. And I obeyed, because the alternative, exposure, humiliation beyond this room, was unthinkable. Halfway through the night, someone suggested music. The lights dimmed, the bass thudded through the floor, and couples began swaying in the makeshift dance space. I thought I was safe in the shadows, but Clara had other plans. She grabbed my wrist and pulled me forward. Dance with me, doll. My eyes widened. What? No, I'll trip, I can't. She leaned close, her lips brushing my ear. Then learn. Or, do you want me to tell them all what you really are? I swallowed hard. The music vibrated through my body as Clara spun me into the center. She placed my hands on her shoulders, her own gripping my waist with unsettling intimacy. Relax, she murmured. Just follow my lead. And so I did. Step by trembling step, I followed, my heels clicking against the floor as she guided me effortlessly. People clapped and cheered, some calling out compliments. She's so cute. Clara, your roommate's gorgeous. The words washed over me, dizzying. Humiliation and warmth tangled until I couldn't tell them apart. For the first time that night, I caught my reflection in the dark window. A girl in a black dress, blushing, swaying in another girl's arms. No trace of the boy I used to be. And the worst part? A flicker of pride lit in my chest. I looked pretty. When the song ended, laughter and cheers filled the room. Clara kissed my cheek, a theatrical flourish that made me freeze. The crowd clapped louder, some teasing, some genuinely impressed. But then one of the girls tilted her head, eyeing me curiously. So, what's your story? She asked. Where are you from? What's your deal? My stomach dropped. My story. I didn't have one. Panic clawed up my throat. Clara stepped in seamlessly, looping her arm tighter around me. She's shy, she purred. But trust me, she's full of secrets. The crowd laughed, but the girl's eyes lingered on me with suspicion. My heart hammered. Did she see through it? Did she know? The next morning felt different. My body was still mine, but something had shifted. When I passed the hallway mirror, I didn't rush past it like usual. My eyes lingered on the faint traces of mascara left from last night, the softness in my cheeks where Lauren had brushed on blush. I had scrubbed most of it off before bed, but not all of it. And deep down, I didn't know if I wanted to erase everything. Lauren must have noticed, because when I sat at the kitchen table, she dropped a small bag in front of me. A sleek, black makeup pouch. What's this? I asked, my throat dry. Your survival kit, she said with a smirk, sipping her coffee. If you're going to be my doll, you need to start learning how to keep the look without me doing all the work. Inside were lipsticks, foundation, eyeliner, brushes, more than I had ever seen up close. My hands trembled as I pulled out a tube of lipstick. Cherry red. I can't use this stuff on my own, I whispered. That's why we're practicing. Lauren leaned forward, her eyes glittering. Today we're focusing on lips. They tell the world who you are before you even speak. So let's paint yours. My chest tightened. Lips were intimate. Once I crossed that line, there was no mistaking the intent. Dressing in her clothes last night could have been brushed off as a prank or punishment. But lipstick? That meant embracing it. I don't think Alex. Her voice was calm but sharp. You're already halfway gone. Don't pretend otherwise. I froze. The words hit too close to home. Lauren guided me to the mirror and unscrewed the lipstick cap with a slow twist. She held it up like it was a weapon or a crown. Open your mouth just a little. Relax. I obeyed. The waxy texture dragged over my lips, cool at first, then warm as she layered it. My reflection shifted instantly. My mouth, once neutral and plain, now glowed with red. It was bold, loud, undeniable. There, Lauren whispered in my ear, her breath tickling my skin. Look at you. Not just hiding anymore. Speaking. I stared at myself, heart pounding. The red made me look beautiful. Frighteningly beautiful. Like I wasn't Alex at all. Like I was someone new. Now, Lauren said, her grin widening. You try it yourself. My hands shook as I took the tube. I pressed it to my lips, smearing clumsily. Lauren laughed softly. Too much. Gentle. Slow strokes. Like this. She guided my wrist until I moved with more precision. When I was done, she clapped lightly. Perfect. My doll is learning. Her words wrapped around me like chains and silk at the same time. A part of me recoiled, screaming to stop, to run, to wipe it off. But another part, dark, dangerous, thrilled at the attention, the praise, the undeniable allure staring back at me in the mirror. Lauren leaned on the doorframe, watching me with satisfaction. "You're starting to like it, aren't you?" I didn't answer, but the reflection did. The girl in the mirror looked back at me with painted lips, wide eyes, and a secret she could no longer hide. And in that moment, I wasn't sure if I wanted to hide it at all. The lipstick was still fresh when Lauren dropped the next bomb on me. "Get dressed," she said casually, tossing a light summer dress onto my bed. It was pale yellow, thin-strapped, with a flow that screamed feminine ease.
My mouth went dry.
"What? No way. That's a dress." Lauren leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes glinting.
Exactly.
"And you're going to wear it. We're going out." I felt like my lungs stopped working. "Out? Like outside?" "Yes, Alex. Outside. Into the real world. Don't look so shocked." She walked closer, lowering her voice. "Did you really think being my doll meant hiding in the shadows forever? Dolls are meant to be shown off." The words made my stomach twist. I shook my head violently. "I can't. People will laugh. They'll know. They'll know you're beautiful," Lauren interrupted, her tone sharp but coated in sugar. She lifted the dress again, dangling it in front of me. "Do you trust me?" That question hit like a trap. My instinct was to say no, to run. But some weak, terrified part of me did trust her. Or maybe I was just too caught in her web to resist. With trembling fingers, I took the dress. The fabric slid over my body, cool and alien. It clung where I didn't want it to, exposed my shoulders, and made my legs feel bare and vulnerable. When I caught myself in the mirror, I gasped. The lipstick, the delicate straps, the soft yellow fabric. It didn't look like me. It looked like a stranger. A stranger who could almost pass. Lauren's eyes sparkled with approval.
"See?
I told you. You were born for this." My legs shook as she slipped a pair of flat sandals onto my feet. Nothing too dramatic, but still unmistakably feminine. Then she spritzed me with perfume. Light, floral, dizzying. I whispered, "Lauren, please. I'm not ready." Her hand cupped my cheek. Her touch was gentle, but her words cut. "You'll never be ready. That's why I'm pushing you." The walk to the cafe felt like walking on broken glass. Every step screamed danger. Every glance from a passerby made me want to disappear. I tugged at the hem of the dress, praying no one looked too closely. Inside the cafe, the smell of coffee and chatter filled the air. Lauren ordered confidently, while I stood frozen, trying not to exist. Then the barista smiled at me. Not at Alex. At the person standing in a dress, with red lips and nervous eyes. "What can I get for you, miss?"
Miss.
The word hit harder than any slap. My breath caught. My knees weakened. For a split second, I felt good. Good in a way that scared me to death. Lauren noticed. Her smirk was smug as ever. "She'll have an iced latte."
She.
My hands gripped the counter to stay upright. The barista didn't question it. Didn't laugh. Just nodded and typed it in. Lauren leaned close to whisper, "Congratulations, doll. The world sees you now." And I didn't know whether to cry, scream, or melt into the floor. Thought the cafe ordeal would be the end of it. Just one terrifying outing, then back to the safety of my room where I could peel off the disguise and breathe again. But Lauren wasn't finished. She dragged out our lattes to a table by the window, the most visible spot in the cafe. People walking by on the street could look right in and see us. See me. I kept my head low, sipping nervously, praying no one I knew would walk past. And then fate laughed in my face. "Alex." The sound of my name hit like ice water. I froze. My hand trembled so hard the straw rattled against the plastic lid. I looked up and saw Mark, my old classmate. We hadn't spoken in months, but I knew his face instantly. His eyes were narrowed, confused, flicking between me and Lauren. My voice caught. I couldn't even string words together. Lauren, on the other hand, was flawless. She smiled sweetly.
Oh, hi.
You must be mistaken. This is Alexa, my roommate. My heart nearly exploded out of my chest. Alexa? She just named me. Out loud. In public. Mark tilted his head, uncertain. Alexa?
Wow.
You look a lot like. He stopped, eyes scanning me again. I shifted in my seat, tugging the hem of my dress, trying to disappear. Lauren slid her hand across the table, covering mine. To anyone else, it looked affectionate. To me, it was a command. Stay still. Mark blinked, then smiled awkwardly. Sorry, I guess I was mistaken. Nice to meet you, Alexa. He waved and left, the bell above the cafe door jingling as he disappeared into the street. My lungs finally remembered how to work, and I gasped, clutching my chest. Lauren, what the hell? He knew me. He almost. But he didn't. Her grin was devilish. Because you looked convincing enough that he questioned himself. Do you realize what that means, doll? You're passable. Passable. The word rang in my ears. A mix of pride and horror boiled inside me. Lauren leaned across the table, her voice low and intoxicating. You just lived through your first real test. Someone from your past face to face, and they bought the lie. Doesn't that feel delicious? I wanted to scream no. I wanted to shove the dress off, wipe away the lipstick, and prove her wrong. But the memory of Mark saying nice to meet you, Alexa, stuck in my head like a poisoned hook. And the sickest part?
A piece of me liked it.
Lauren saw it in my eyes before I could hide it. Her smirk widened. Don't fight it. Dolls aren't meant to fight. They're meant to play their part. Her hand squeezed mine harder, and I realized I was already playing. I thought maybe, just maybe, Lauren would give me a break after what happened with Mark. My nerves were shredded, my legs weak from the adrenaline. But Lauren never played fair. That night, while I sat on my bed trying to process, she appeared in my doorway with a gleam in her eye and a stack of glossy shopping bags in her arms. No more hiding in hand-me-downs, she said. Tomorrow, we're doing this properly. You're coming shopping with me, doll. I shook my head so fast it made me dizzy. Lauren, no. Absolutely not. Today was already too much. She tossed one of the bags onto my bed. Inside was a silky nightgown, pale pink, delicate lace across the bust. Then wear this tonight. Sleep in it. Think about how easily you fooled Mark. About how easily you could fool everyone. I wanted to throw it back at her. Instead, I sat frozen, staring at the fragile thing, knowing deep down she'd already decided my answer. The next morning, she yanked open my blinds and dragged me out of bed. Before I could even argue, I was sitting at her vanity, foundation smeared across my cheeks, mascara dragging my lashes long and dark. By the time she zipped me into a short floral dress, paired with a cropped jacket and ballet flats, my reflection didn't look like me anymore. Not even close. Perfect, she whispered. Now, let's show the world. The mall was alive with weekend noise, footsteps, chatter, the echo of music from every store. My stomach churned. Every glance felt like a spotlight. Every laugh felt like it was about me. Lauren strolled like she owned the place, tugging me along by the wrist. Chin up, smile. You're mine, my pretty doll. Everyone should see how lovely you are. We went store to store, and with every stop my humiliation deepened. In one boutique, Lauren made me try on lingerie, lace bras, panties, even garter belts. She snapped photos on her phone as I stood trembling in the changing room. In another, she pushed me toward racks of skirts and blouses, holding pieces against me, making a show of deciding what suited me best. Salesgirls giggled and gave me approving looks, clearly assuming I was just another shy girl dragged out shopping. Then came the shoe store. Try these, Lauren said, sliding a box across the bench. Inside were a pair of nude high heels. Not just flats. Not wedges. Heels. Lauren, please, I can't. You can, she cut in. And you will. The first step nearly toppled me. Lauren laughed, looping her arm through mine to steady me. Relax. You'll get used to it. Every doll does. People looked. I knew they did. A group of teenage girls pointed and whispered as I wobbled by, and my face burned hotter than ever. But beneath the shame, there was something else, a tiny spark of thrill that I hated myself for feeling. Lauren leaned close, her voice a purr.
See?
They're staring because you're beautiful. My doll is learning to walk. And with that, she guided me out into the crowded mall, heels clicking, heart racing, every step pulling me further from the boy I used to be. By the time we had circled half the mall, my feet screamed from the heels. Every click against the tile floor felt like a gunshot announcing me to the world. I kept waiting for someone to laugh out loud, to point and call me a fraud. Lauren, of course, was delighted. She treated the outing like her own personal stage play, tugging me into more stores, piling bags into my arms, making me carry her purchases while balancing like a newborn deer. "You're doing so well," she whispered, brushing my hair out of my face as we passed a mirrored pillar. "Look at you. No one sees a boy. Not one person. They see my doll." Her words pressed into my chest heavier than the shopping bags. The real blow came in the food court. We sat at a table in the middle of the chaos, kids running, people chatting, the scent of fries and fried chicken everywhere. I thought we were just stopping to eat, but Lauren had other plans. As soon as I sat down, she slid her phone across the table. The screen glowed with a photo she had just taken. Me, in a shoe store mirror, wearing the heels, clutching the rail for balance, eyes wide with shame. "Delete it," I hissed. She leaned in, her lips curling. "Why would I? It's art." "But here's the fun part. You're going to prove to me just how much of a doll you can be. Go up there." She nodded toward the crowded counter of a smoothie shop. "And order for us." Loud and clear, like a proper girl. My stomach plummeted.
No.
"Please, Lauren, don't make me." Her voice dropped into that sweet, deadly softness I was beginning to fear more than shouting. "If you don't, I'll send this picture to Mark." Imagine his face when he realizes Alexa is really Alex in a dress. Tears stung my eyes, but my body moved before my mind could resist. I stood, my heels wobbly on the polished floor, and walked toward the counter. The teenage boy behind the register smiled. "Hi, what can I get you today?" His easy friendliness stabbed me with humiliation. I swallowed, forcing my voice higher. 2 strawberry smoothies, please." The boy nodded, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "Sure thing, miss." "Miss." The word landed like a lightning strike. I carried the drinks back, my hands shaking so badly the lids nearly popped off. Lauren's grin stretched wide as I set them down. "You heard him, didn't you?" she said softly. "Mississippi." I couldn't answer. My throat was too tight, my heart too heavy. Lauren reached across, brushing her fingers against my hand. "Every time you step out as my doll, the world will see you as a girl. And the longer you stay in this role, the harder it will be to go back." I sipped my smoothie, trying to hide the tears that slipped down my cheek. Because somewhere deep inside, I knew she was right. And the scariest part wasn't the humiliation. It was how much of me wanted to believe it. The ride home from the mall was silent, except for the hum of the car and the occasional rustle of shopping bags in the back seat. I clutched them tightly, knowing what they meant, proof of what I had done, of what Lauren had made me do. Proof I couldn't erase. When we pulled up to the apartment, she didn't speak. She just grabbed the bags, swept past me, and unlocked the door with the air of someone who had everything under control. Inside, she finally turned, her eyes sharp. "Strip." I blinked. What? "Everything. Take it off. The dress, the heels, all of it. My doll doesn't wear the same outfit twice. And I want to see what we bought actually on you." My face burned, but my hands obeyed. Piece by piece, the clothes hit the floor. Standing there in just my underwear, I felt smaller than I ever had. Lauren picked through the bags like a queen selecting her jewels. From one, she pulled a pale satin camisole and matching shorts trimmed with lace. From another, a push-up bra in soft cream. From a third, sheer stockings that glimmered in the light. She tossed them onto the bed. "Put them on. All of it." I swallowed hard, my throat tight. The silk whispered against my skin as I slipped into the set, the bra pushing me into curves I didn't have, the stockings clinging like a second skin. When I finally stood in front of her, she tilted her head, smiling. Beautiful, but something's missing. She disappeared into her room and returned with a velvet box. Inside lay a delicate silver choker with a small crystal pendant. She fastened it around my neck with a finality that made me shiver. There, she whispered, fingers brushing the back of my neck. Every doll needs a collar. I turned toward the mirror and nearly collapsed. The boy I thought I was gone. What stood in his place looked fragile, feminine, unreal. My chest tightened. Lauren, I can't. Yes, you can. She pressed her lips near my ear. You just walked through a mall in heels. You ordered smoothies and got called miss. You're already halfway gone, doll. The rest is just polishing. Her hands slid down my arms, guiding me to the vanity again. She pulled out brushes, lipsticks, palettes. Tonight we practice. Walking, posture, voice. Tomorrow we test. I wanted to scream, to throw everything off and storm out. But the collar at my throat felt heavy, binding. And as she traced eyeliner across my lashes, whispering praise, I realized something terrifying. A part of me was already surrendering. And she knew it. Lauren didn't let me sleep. The clock on the wall crept past midnight, then 1, then 2, while she kept me under the warm glow of the vanity light, a prisoner to her brushes, lipsticks, and commands. Again, she said, tapping her finger against her lips. I tried. My voice cracked as I forced it higher. Hello. My name is... I hesitated, but her eyes narrowed, and I knew what she wanted. Alexa. Her smile bloomed. Good. Softer this time. Imagine you're shy. Tilt your chin down, eyes up. Give me innocent. I did it again, my throat aching, my pride splintering with every syllable. She clapped like a delighted teacher. That's my doll. Next came posture. She made me stand in the heels, balancing a book on my head. Every wobble earned a sharp correction. Stop walking like a man. Small steps. Glide, don't stomp. Think of it as floating. I shuffled back and forth across the room until my calves screamed, the book tumbling more times than I could count. Each fall made her laugh, but her laughter wasn't cruel. It was satisfied, like she was sculpting me. When I begged for a break, she simply raised an eyebrow. Do dolls get tired?
No.
They're made to be admired. Again. At 3 a.m, she finally pulled out a makeup wipe and swept away the carefully painted face she'd crafted. My skin was raw, my eyes red from exhaustion, but she only tilted her head, studying me. You're close, she murmured. Closer than you think. Tomorrow, we'll try something bigger. My heart pounded. What do you mean? She leaned down, her lips brushing my ear. A doll isn't complete until she's adored. Tomorrow, you'll learn what that feels like. Her words rattled in my skull long after she sent me to bed, still in the satin camisole, collar snug at my throat. I curled under the blanket, trembling. Part of me prayed morning would never come. Morning arrived with no mercy. My body felt like lead, every muscle aching from walking drills, but Lauren swept into my room with a kind of brightness that made my stomach churn. Up, doll, she sang. We've got an appointment. My voice cracked. What kind of appointment? She tossed a sundress onto my bed, yellow with little white flowers, light and feminine. A salon. My doll deserves professional attention. The car ride was silent except for the pounding of my heart. When we pulled up to the storefront, I almost bolted. The glass windows revealed rows of women inside, heads tilted back as stylists teased, trimmed, painted, and pampered. Lauren, I can't go in there, I whispered. Her nails brushed my thigh as she leaned close. You can, because you're mine. And because you want to know how it feels, don't you? To have someone make you beautiful. I didn't answer. My silence was enough. The moment we stepped inside, the scent of hairspray and nail polish wrapped around me. Chatter and laughter filled the air. A stylist at the front desk looked us over and smiled. 2 for the deluxe package, she asked. Lauren nodded.
Yes.
For me and my roommate, Alexa. There it was again. Alexa. Spoken so casually, like it was who I'd always been. My pulse stuttered, but the receptionist just wrote it down without a blink. The ordeal began with a manicure. My hands trembled as the woman filed my nails, painting them with a soft pink polish Lauren had picked out. Watching the glossy color dry across my fingertips was dizzying. It felt permanent, like a line I couldn't uncross. Then came the hair. They washed, blow-dried, and curled until soft waves framed my face. The stylist even slipped in a tiny floral clip, cooing, "So pretty. You've got the perfect features for this." I wanted to disappear, but a dark, traitorous part of me thrilled at the praise. Finally, the makeup chair. A professional hand traced liner across my eyes, smoothed foundation, brushed blush onto my cheeks. When she held up the mirror, I gasped. The reflection staring back was a stranger. Not Alex. Not even a boy in makeup. A girl. A real girl, flushed and delicate, with wide eyes and glossy lips. Lauren's hand squeezed my shoulder. What did I tell you? My doll was always in there, waiting to come out. But the true humiliation came when the stylist asked, "So, is this for a special occasion?" Lauren didn't miss a beat.
Yes.
She's starting her first job soon. As a secretary. My eyes widened, but the stylist just smiled warmly. Congratulations. You'll look amazing behind a desk. The words sank like stones in my chest. The lie wasn't just a lie anymore. It was becoming real. And everyone around me believed it. The salon doors opened, and sunlight spilled across my heels. My polished nails gleamed, my curled hair bounced, and every step made the hem of my sundress sway against my legs. I wanted to run back inside, hide under the salon chair, anything but walk out into the world looking like this. But Lauren slipped her arm through mine, locking me in place with that effortless dominance she carried everywhere. "Head up, doll," she whispered. "Own it. You're beautiful. Let them stare." And they did stare. As we walked down the busy sidewalk, heads turned. A group of guys leaned against a storefront, pausing their conversation to eye me up and down. My cheeks burned hotter than the afternoon sun. "Hey, gorgeous," one called. My legs faltered, knees nearly buckling. Lauren only grinned, tugging me closer to her side.
See?
Even strangers know what I've been telling you. We ducked into a cafe, the bell above the door chiming. The smell of roasted coffee beans wrapped around me, but it didn't calm the pounding in my chest. The barista, a young woman with a messy bun, beamed at us. "What can I get for you ladies today?" The word ladies sent a shiver straight through me. She didn't hesitate, didn't look twice. To her, I was a girl. Lauren nudged me forward. "Order, Alexa." My voice nearly broke, but I managed. A caramel latte, please." The barista scribbled it down with a smile. "You've got such a sweet voice. It suits you." My heart fluttered wildly. Compliments used to make me feel proud. Now they made me feel trapped. We sat by the window, sipping our drinks. I caught my reflection in the glass, a girl with painted lips and shining hair, laughing nervously beside her friend. I pressed my knees together instinctively, my posture shifting without thought. Lauren noticed. Her eyes glittered. "You're adapting faster than I expected," she said softly. "Every little gesture, every shy glance, you're perfect. People don't even question it anymore." I swallowed hard. That's the problem. They believe it. She leaned closer, her perfume dizzying. And isn't it easier to just let them believe? I wanted to argue. I wanted to deny it. But the truth clawed at me. Part of me had never felt so seen, so alive. And that terrified me more than anything else. The cafe ordeal should have been enough. I prayed Lauren would take me home, let me hide beneath blankets until the makeup washed away. But instead, she tugged me across the street toward a glowing boutique window filled with lace, satin, and mannequins draped in lingerie. My breath caught. "Lauren, no, not here." Her smile was merciless. "If you can survive coffee, you can survive this. Besides, every pretty girl needs the right foundation." The bell above the boutique door chimed, and I froze. Soft music played inside, feminine and teasing. Racks of bras, slips, and panties stretched out before me like a trap designed just for my humiliation. A saleswoman approached instantly, her eyes lighting up. "Welcome, ladies. Looking for something special today?" I nearly choked on my own tongue. But Lauren slid in smoothly.
Yes.
"My friend here needs a few essentials. She's been shy about shopping for herself." The saleswoman's gaze landed on me, warm and approving. "First time, sweetheart?" I could only nod, cheeks burning crimson. Soon, I was whisked into a fitting room, arms piled high with silky fabrics. Lauren stood outside the curtain, her voice sharp and amused. "Try the lace set first. I want to see." My hands trembled as I slipped into the bra and panties. The satin clung to my skin like a second identity, whispering that resistance was useless. I caught sight of myself in the mirror and almost didn't recognize the person staring back. Delicate, curved, undeniably feminine. "Come out," Lauren urged. "No way," I hissed. "Now, Alexa." The command in her voice left no room for argument. Heart hammering, I stepped out. The saleswoman clasped her hands together, delighted. "Oh, that's perfect on you. Absolutely perfect. You've got the body for it." Lauren smirked. "Told you." As they discussed colors and cuts over my blushing silence, I realized something horrifying. This wasn't just a punishment anymore. It was a performance. And everyone in that store believed the act. When Lauren paid for 3 sets of lingerie in a glossy bag and handed it to me, her whisper was a blade against my ear. "Now you're not just wearing a costume. You're building a wardrobe."